Got it. All right, guys, we are here and we are live. My name is Rick Ginn. I am the Rick in Flip with Rick, and I'm also known as Dad. More of you guys know my son. He's Zachary. And guys, we're here to talk about, I want to give you the basic blueprint to make 10 grand a month in wholesaling. And honestly, this is the easy one. This is the one, if you're just getting out started wholesaling, this is a video you want to pay attention to because number one, I'm not charging it for you. Number two, I'm going to give you the blueprint for it. And by the time I'm done this, I'm going to show you exactly where to get it to go in much greater depth. And here's the really cool part is you can grab this today. You can review it anytime you want. And my favorite part is it's 100% free because my goal is to teach as many people, not only to get started in wholesaling, but teach them how to get their first deal and then teach them how to make their first $100,000. If you're signed on board, let's do it. I'm like especially amped up today. I don't know what's going on today. I don't know if there's any type of event going on, but I don't know. I'm jacked up today. I'm fired up. So guys, if you're new to the show, just on the side, you have the comments. This is where you introduce yourself. This is a great way to interact with people. I wish I could put everybody on live, but if you want to get on live, you just click the stream, go to Wholesaling Houses for Real, the largest Facebook interactive wholesaling group today that you don't get sold 24/7. If you go in there, there's a link on the top to today's topic. You click that StreamYard link and you are automatic. So I'm wide open. I do it on a first come, first serve basis. And I have plenty of room to talk to people. So if you want a live interaction, this is a great way to do it. So make sure you click that. So I love doing this. And I love doing it with my son, but I love interacting with you guys. If you guys want to learn more on how to who's this Rick guy? It's crazy. I'm on Monday nights at 5 p.m. Eastern time, and that's on the Rick Ginn channel on YouTube. And it's fun. And so if you want to get to me a little bit more on a personal basis, I go a little bit deeper on there, but everything I do here is focused on wholesaling. So if you want to talk about wholesaling today, this is the way to do it, dude. You guys, you got to get pumped up because I'm not feeling the energy. I'm I don't even know what's going on today, but we got to do it. So if you're like me, a little bit ADHD, you're kind of all over the place sometimes, but honestly, when it comes to wholesaling, I'm direct. I get excited about it. And I'm as excited about this wholesaling as back when I started in 2003. And I want to share that enthusiasm. I have never forgot where I came from, and I understand the challenges you guys are up to today. So I have a couple rules. Number one, you got to be nice. Number two, you got to have fun. And number three, you cannot complain on this channel because complainers never get anywhere. So you either take action or you make an excuse. Whichever choice you make, I'll know as soon as I talk to you. So if you're one of the people that want to take action or are serious about really being successful in wholesaling, I know it's changed my life. I know it's changed the trajectory of my family. You guys know my son's story. I'm here to teach you, but we got to get you up. We got to get pumped. Let's do it.
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and then they got go. Time to wake up, bitch. Get up. Get up, bitch. Get up.
I love that. So, dude, I like to have fun when I do this. And I can tell you, man, I've been wholesaling for a long time. And I tell you, some people just take themselves way too seriously in wholesaling. So I find the teaching of topic wholesaling is, if you can make it entertaining and actually learn how to make money and cut through all the crap, you're in the right place. Because honestly, the more I do this, the more I feel the need to be unfiltered. Meaning, guys, honestly, if you're just starting this business, the wealth of information I have about how this business is, where I started from, where I come, and today you've never had a better opportunity to start wholesaling. The problem is it's hard to decide who's telling you the truth, who's actually doing this business, and who's actually going to give you the straightest path to get a deal. Because I've learned if you complicate it and confuse people, then you can sell them the solution. So me and Zach's mission is just to give you the solution. And I tick off a lot of people with what I do it, but keep in mind, the only people I care about at the end of the day is you guys. This is why I'm not part of the group. And meaning by that is I just cut straight to the path. And my purpose for doing this, number one, I do phenomenally wholesaling. I do very well with it and I enjoy it. And I do real estate investments. I do commercial properties, and I've learned my skill sets over time. But I always started with wholesaling. And here's the key is I still do wholesaling. That's the secret sauce. Don't quit. If you don't quit, you're always a winner. And that's what I want to get across to you today. So today, I'm going to take a short, I promise you, the shortest possible amount of time to teach you the $10,000 blueprint to how to get making money in wholesaling, how to actually do it. Now, it's going to be very short, but if you want to go in deeper, what I suggest you do, where we expand on it very, very deep, is go over to freewholesaling.com. It's scrolling on the bottom of the screen, and that's where you want to. We have the most extensive course on wholesaling, and the thing is, people are like, well, it's free. How good can it be? You tell me. On average, we're getting posted, just for the people that want to post on their own, their checks of the success they've had with free wholesaling, over $350,000 a month. And guys, that is a tiny fraction because some people are very humbled. I'm all about sharing victories to help motivate you guys. But the reality is it's just a small fraction and we don't require it. Like, honestly, these are people just posting on their own. Like, listen, what you guys taught me was amazing. And I want to share it with you. And there's no other coach guru in the industry that can have as much success with us. Why? Because I just find that people want to take the most amount of action. I give them the absolute best course to be successful in wholesaling. And if you put the two together, unbelievable things will happen. 95% failure ratio in this business. Why? Because you guys are worked. And I don't want that to happen to you. So go over to freewholesaling.com. It's absolutely free to register there. But here's the key is you have to take action. This stuff does not do it on its own. So, so funny. I love your guys' comments. So I do read them all. I'm fired up today. I don't know what's in the air, man. There's all sorts of stuff going on. So let me get through the training part and you guys hop on the one-on-ones. I'm going to go deep with you guys today because my goal today is help out as many people as I can. So if I have to do it in the comment section, I'm fine doing that. If you guys want to do the one-on-ones, go over to Wholesaling Houses for Real, click the top box where today's featured video is and click that StreamYard link, and that will allow you to go on there. Yes, you have to be subscribed to the YouTube channel and our Wholesaling for Houses for Real. And once you do that, we know who you are. We want to help you out. So there's no cost in doing it, but I reward people who take the most amount of action. Got a frog in my throat today. Okay, let's jump into this. So we're talking about the blueprint from 0 to 10 grand. And honestly, if you've seen my videos before, this is going to seem redundant, but I like to give you guys stuff that's repeatable, scalable, and actually has proven to work. So everything I'm going to give you is stuff I do in my business today. And honestly, I did about a quarter of this stuff when I got started. So now I have a lot more knowledge, and I'm going to show you what you need to be successful today in understanding if I can teach a 17-year-old kid, excluding my son, how to do this business. And the most important thing I taught him was how to take action and how to do the business correctly. You have no excuse. So if you want to be successful in wholesaling, you just got to put in the work. There is no substitute for hard work, but you got to work smart. So let's jump into it. So we always talk about the 3-3-3 approach. So this is the first step. So don't worry, guys. This is recorded. You can play it back. So if you're taking diligent notes, I like to take notes because sometimes the physical act of writing just wires to my brain, but I'm an old school guy. Kind of shows you my age. But if you guys like to go back and watch videos like my son does, you can do that too. And the only thing is just play it over and over and stop it at your pace and take notes. So it's called the 3-3 approach. That's for your lists. That's going to be for your marketing channels, and it's going to be your disposition. So unless you just fell off this earth, let me break this down for you. And by the way, I go in much deeper in freewholesaling.com because I only get so much time to spend with you guys, but I'm giving you the highlights. So 3-3-3 approach: lists, marketing, and dispositions. The first one is driving for dollars, government list, and paid list. So driving for dollars is the art of driving around and looking for houses that are just ugly. High grass, blue tarp roofs, boarded up windows. You guys know the drill. Apparently there's courses out on this stuff, but I guess people will buy anything. You don't need a course for driving for dollars. It's really actually common sense. I teach it all for free at freewholesaling.com. But honestly, guys, I learned this the first day of wholesaling, and it was probably one of the best sources. Go out and find ugly houses, and we're going to find a way to get in touch with them. The next one is government list. And these are lists that are generated at your county level typically. And this is going to include your courthouses and your building departments. And these lists are going to be just your foreclosure list. It's going to be your eviction list. It's going to be, you could put divorce list on there. I'm not a big fan of the divorce list. You have probates, phenomenal. Oh my God, if you're not doing probates, I need to shake this mic and smack you over the head with it. And then you can break down to the building departments and do fire damage properties from your local fire departments and your water shutoffs. And don't forget, one of the most valuable lists is code violations. Now, your biggest obstacle with these lists is you're going to get some resistance because they have privacy policies. We can't do it's public information argument anymore because they're going to hide behind the policy. So to overcome resistance, you got to beat it with resistance. So understand going into that. And then the third one is going to be your paid list. You're going to be your listrei.com, anything like that, because sometimes it is efficient to pay a small service fee to get access to the information. We all live busy lives, but honestly, you can get all this stuff for free. You don't have to have a paid list, but I look at a paid list as it's a lot cheaper than hiring another employee. And for that purpose is I want you to understand that. So that is going to be your list. Let me know if you have any questions on the list. Now, as far as the marketing channels, cold calling, I'm going to beat you to death on it because honestly, if you don't have a lot of money, it's the fastest way to get through volume, which is what you need when you start. The next one is SMS, also known as texting. One of the most phenomenal ways you can do it. It's going to cost you a little bit of money because you have to use a service and you have to skip trace. But the scalability of SMS, there's very few that can match it. The key with SMS texting is you have to convert them from your phone. I get phone calls. I'm sorry, you have to convert them from a text to a phone call. Don't think you can automatically take deals down via text. Very rarely you can do it, but the idea is you have to engage them to qualify them. And the only way you can do that is you got to get people on the phone. The last one's going to be direct mail. This is a less likely source if you're just starting out, because the reality is you don't have the experience to talk to sellers. And I don't want you to risk marketing dollars if you don't know how to take down deals. So Rick, how do I learn to take down deals? It's simple. Tons of cold calling, direct mail, and driving for dollars, and even reverse driving for dollars, which is the technique. This is another marketing channel. It really falls under driving for dollars, but you go out and put like a sticky note. So you like your yellow Post-it notes, and you can use a stamp or you can handwrite it. It says, I got a quick question about your house. I'll take my pre-foreclosure list or my code violation list, and I'll go ahead and put sticky notes on it. And then if I put 100 out there and 10 or 15 people call me back, I save a lot of time and aggravation, and it works out perfectly to do that. So those are our marketing channels. I am blasting through this because I want to get to the phone call. So the next one, we're talking about dispositions. So once you get them under contract, you have to quickly find a way to dispose of these properties, AKA sell them. And it's real simple. You want to pull up the cash sales, which you can, the easiest way is use listrei.com, or you could, for rents. Why for rents? Because these are landlords always eagerly looking to buy properties that they can't get a good price on MLS. They love to get off-market deals, and that's where you and me as the wholesaler comes in, and that's when you do it. And then the last one, guys, I still love auctions, man. I went to the auction last week for a commercial property, and based on the amount of people that show up and how the bidding goes, and like I love to hear people's feedback, It's probably one of the best places to get info. Now, I don't want you bidding at these. You do not want to bid on an auction because he or she that pays the most loses the most. As wholesalers, our job's never to pay the most, period. And the auction, its whole design is to use the FOMO, the fear of missing out. If you don't pay, this person's going to outbid you for $500, and you're willing to lose the property. I find the whole mantra of doing auctions just amazing. It's like a human experiment. And what I find out is people like to compete at auctions. They take it very personally. I've seen auctions where nobody bid. This is dead true. This was a long time ago, I went to an auction during a very down market, and guys, we're kind of heading that way, and nobody bidded on the property. Nobody bidded on me. And what I did is I let the smoke settle. I went up to the auctioneer and I go, I can't help but see the problem you have here. Are you interested in negotiating an offer with me directly with the homeowner? And here's the key. I told the auctioneer, which is a realtor, which I believe is a broker, I'm happy to pay your fee. 45 minutes later, I cut a deal. She was a little old lady, and she just wanted to get rid of the house. Guys, if you ever go to an auction and nobody bids, you should lick your chops because they are wide open to talking to the wholesaler. I know it's rare, but every now and then it happens. But really, the purpose of going to the auction is take the temperature of what's going on in the market and gather as much information as possible. So I'm learning about this new technique. You guys know I'm old. So like you can take your phone and you can have a digital business card and scan it and bump the other person. People don't even exchange business cards anymore. I still like to, but the reality is it's never been easier to exchange information, and you really need to take advantage of doing that. So I love auctions, man. Like auctions is just fun. It's like I have more fun at auction than anybody else. And like I just go to like, it's amazing. I remember at the peak of the market. So I've been through two really peak markets. I remember showing up at an auction in 2006 or maybe early 2007, right before the market hit. One house, ready for this? 280 people showed up. It was unbelievable. I went to auction every house after that. And then back in 2011, I went to an auction. Nobody bid on the property, the same area, same neighborhood. And I wind up buying it for a steal of a deal. Why? Because people are emotional about it. And you have to understand, in wholesaling, you're dealing with people. It's not really the property, it's the people. And people have emotions, and most people can't remove their emotions from any type of sale they do. And they get like emotionally wrapped up into it. And so we as wholesalers have to unwind people and tell them, if we can solve a problem and make it work, then we get great deals. We do not sell people at all. I've told you guys forever, I'm not a good salesman because I'm too busy. Like, I just like to be truthful. It's just easier because you don't have to remember the lies. And for that reason, guys, go to the auctions. They're dynamite. Okay. That's the 333. I'm going quickly here. And by the way, I got plenty of room on the lives. I don't know if you guys are scared to talk to me today. So if somebody wants some extra time, today's the perfect day to do it. I only got a couple people in. So like I have plenty of time. See, I shouldn't even be telling you guys this. Something's in the air today. Number 2, sweat equity. And what do I mean by sweat equity? It means just going out and hustling to get deals, networking with everybody you humanly know. Guys, one of my best deals I ever did was through one of my mom's friends. Why? Because I told my mom what to do. And you know what? I don't tell my mom. I never told her I'm a wholesaler. I'm just a guy who buys houses for cash, especially problematic properties. That's it. Don't ever tell someone you're a wholesaler because they don't care. Because they don't know what that means. They're like, what does that mean? Are you like a scam artist, or like, are you selling stuff from Costco? That's sometimes what I get. So I'm a guy who buys houses for cash and I close quickly. You know anyone like that? And as simple as that, from that one deal from a mom's friend, I took over a deal and made over $100,000 on a single family home. And it came out of nowhere. And here's the problem is you have to invest time and energy and tell everybody what you do. And you have no idea when it's going to repay you. But you have to have faith and trust that eventually someone's going to need your services. And the reality is all real estate, it's just timing. All business is timing. Even though they're not ready today, a lot of time when someone passes away or something changes or somebody loses a job or somebody moves away, they need to make quick decisions and you got to be in their face. Number 2, bandit signs, often overlooked. Make sure it's legal in your area. I signed an agreement. I can't do them in my area anymore because honestly, I did hundreds of deals from bandit signs. I was so good at it and I figured it out. And full disclosure, I put it away. And so my agreement was with me not doing it. So I had my son do it. And he dominated an entire market for 2 years. I mean, dominated. And honestly, while he was in high school, he made a killing on bandit signs. And honestly, I kind of thought it was dead. So don't ever assume something's dead. Try it, test it out. You don't have to go out and put out 500 bandit signs. Go put out 25 or 30. Go get a blank sign, get the Sharpie pen from Home Depot or Office Depot, and just write on there. And you want to use 3 lines. The bottom line is always for your virtual phone number, not your personal cell phone number. And then you have 2 lines to get your point across. Be creative, but be simple. Sell your house today, any condition, anytime, any place, something like that. Just don't be the we buy houses guys, because that is beaten to death. And honestly, someone's trademarked that, as stupid as that sounds. Number 3, I talked about it early, reverse driving for dollars. And specifically, this is the sticky note strategy that you attach to the pre-foreclosure list, the most powerful way. Let me tell you why it's so powerful. Number 1, only the people that have some sort of an interest call you back. And number 2, with the advent of Ring cameras, door knocking is, I'm not going to say it's dead, but you can actually get arrested in certain towns for doing it. So you have to be really careful. And honestly, you have to talk through this little thing like, I'm with the Ring door, like who are you? You can't even get past the Ring doorbell. And I find it very frustrating. And you guys communicate to me. We've given up on our side. We just don't do door knocking. We'll do it for specific properties, but we never do a canvas on it because it's so frustrating. And honestly, it always winds up with the cops showing up. So listen, I grew up with like vacuum salespeople in my living room talking to my mom for like an hour. And I grew up with the encyclopedia guy trying to pitch us. If you only knew the internet was coming around the corner. But honestly, I really appreciate like door knockers, but it's really hard these days to do it. Coming in number 4, copy, become a ninja copy. Like guys, I've already told you that one of the biggest challenges in wholesaling is everybody has this giant ego. Look what I did. Look at all these houses I flipped. I'm a superstar. I'm making millions and millions of dollars when you just started in wholesaling. And I want everyone to make millions of dollars. And honestly, I celebrate everyone's victory. I don't care if you use a paid guru or use me and Zach for free. I just want people to be happy in life. Like that is my goal here. Honestly, this is not a war between me and gurus and stuff like that. Honestly, if you use someone paid and you feel like you got value, then go for it. But I'm just telling you, times have changed. When I started out, it was $25,000 to hire a guru. And that was a lot of money back in the early 2000s. Fast forward today, you get the same services between $3,000 and $8,000 on average now, and the dollar's worth a lot less. So you have a much more diluted product, and you have much, with the advent of the internet and social media, you have people that really, it doesn't require any money to get started. And honestly, people tell you if you have a little bit of traction, like even Tony Robbins teaches this, I'm not a big fan of it, is you need to go out and spread the word and teach everybody what you do. But guys, you got to get some miles on your shoes before you tell other people how to do it. Honestly, I never even advised someone till like 10 years into this business. Now, I had the skill set at year 2 and 3, but I didn't have the maturity and I didn't have the discipline, and probably was reckless in anybody advised. So I apologize to anybody I advised back then. It's just, that is the truth of the world today, because so many times we see these strategies that come out, and then you find out years later, like it's illegal, it's wrong, and people are like being chased down for it. Let me give you an example. Do you notice like you don't hear much about novations anymore? Because they're problematic. They're creating a lot of problems in the industry. And eventually it's going to be the point, unless you have a full-on license and you're working with a brokerage, you don't even have a shot at doing them. Because if you're a licensed real estate agent, you can't be doing repairs and all the stuff and playing middleman and keeping commissions. But what I'm telling you is sometimes you got to watch where stuff washes out. And when it washes out, then you find out like, oh, that strategy was illegal, or I get in trouble for it. And I hate that part of this business. So we're constantly trying to reinvent the wheel on how to like do wholesaling. Wholesaling, it's still the same fundamentals as the day I got started. It's getting a property that you're solving a problem with a seller that they need to sell. They need to sell. They don't want to sell. And then basically you are selling that contract for a profit. You provide a service. Everybody wins. That's what wholesaling is. But if you try to go around wholesaling, here's what you do. You do a disservice because you never truly mastered wholesaling. And if you don't know how to make money with no money, how are you going to make money when you have money? Because you're still going to have a challenge. So guys, what I'm going to do is, it's up to you guys. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a long time. And I'm just going to throw the link up here. I'm going to make it super easy, but first come, first serve. As soon as it's filled, I'm done. So please listen, if you go on the live, we're not here to complain. I cannot, honestly, there's nothing I can do. We just waste time. So if you've never done a deal and you want to talk to me, you want to talk about mindset, you want to talk about your operation, or you want to talk about a deal, this is where you're going to jump on with me. I'm going to paste it right now. But please be mindful. We have children watching this. Okay. So I'm going to post it right now. First come, first serve. And you'll see it under, well, if you can't figure it out, I can't help you, but it's right there. Let me finish up our teaching, almost done. And then we're going to jump on and answer questions. So anyways, if you lose your ego and you utilize other wholesalers' ego, you can easily reverse engineer anyone's success trail. How do I know this? Because I still do it to this day. Why do I have to go out and spend money when I find someone in a certain market? I get on their cash buyers list because I know they don't filter it out because they're bragging about they have 50,000 cash buyers, which nobody does. I'm sorry. It doesn't, maybe a national database, but even that, probably a huge margin of error. And then I find the zip codes they're having success. I look at the properties they're listing and voila, dude, you just got $5,000 of free information. Utilize it. They make it public. There's nothing illegal about it. I try to protect you guys so when you become successful, you don't make these mistakes. Because when you get traction in the market, the last thing you want to do is give away. It's like giving away a map to gold. This is why most gurus sell you a map, because it's a map to nowhere. So the reality, if you actually find the gold, why would you let everybody sign up on your cash buyers list only to reverse engineering what you're doing? You guys know cash buyers do it to you guys all the time. You have to do it back. Don't reinvent the wheel. Honestly, this is more valuable than a lot of these data companies. And guys, if you don't believe me, go to any Facebook group that has an area where, say it's say you're doing Jacksonville, just do Jacksonville real estate investors and just watch the bragging and follow the trail. Now I'm here to warn you, if the braggers don't have the data, I mean, they can't show you properties and they're not doing for sale stuff. And by the way, they're supposed to be selling contracts, not property. That's transacting real estate without a license. It's going to get you in a lot of trouble, but just reverse engineer their path. I'm telling you guys, it's amazing. So now 300 people jump on the live. So I'm going to take everybody in complete order to be fair, because that's how we do it. I'm almost done though. We're going to work through this. Last one, eviction list. Eviction list is all about timing. It's at your local county courthouse. Just find the department. The day the thing hits, pull it. Give you an example. If you're in the state of Michigan on your eviction list, they typically put the landlord's phone number. I don't have that luxury in the state of Florida. So identify quickly on how you can get that information. So if you're in a state like Michigan, you only have to skip trace. So if we're talking about your hustle muscle, you don't have to spend a dime. You just got to call and contact people. And please do not forget Zillow Fizbos. Listen, it's super convenient up front. It's a pain in the ass on the back. I know I'm not supposed to cuss, but I apologize. So earmuff it, kids. Because you have the phone number, you have a price and seller. So let me tell you the two biggest mistakes people make on any type of Fizbos. Number one, if you think you're doing volume, you're not even close. You have to have a ton of volume. Okay, guys, we're full. I'm not taking anybody else in the live stream. It was that quick. So honestly, what I do is for free, and I just don't want you guys to waste time trying to click a button because I don't control StreamYard. So you got to have a lot of volume in Zillow, especially Zillow Fizbos. You have to make it work. Number two, we found this out the hard way through our JV program. A lot of these land deals you guys are chasing down on Fizbos, they're scams. They don't own the land and they waste your time. And that's why you're making so much progress. In the end, you find out they don't even own the property. So I'm just telling you, be careful when you're trying to do land specifically on Zillow, because it's become challenging lately. So some sort of scam artist has found a secret. They're trying to get someone to wire them a deposit, and make sure you guys use legitimate title companies. What else? So we talked about volume. We talked about land deals. And here's the biggest problem. Ready? You guys always, most of you think that whatever the price that the FSBO owner puts on there, that is the market value. It typically is not. It's usually way over. So for instance, if somebody puts something on Zillow for $150,000 and you get a contract price of $100,000, you go, man, I just knocked the price down majorly. Maybe the property's only worth $75,000. So please don't use the list price as like that's gospel. That's the number. You have to go and just go through. I don't care if you go through prop, batch, use Zillow, Zestimate, like whatever, and just kind of figure it out, because so many of you think you're getting a discount because you knocked them off their price. They're trying to play the realtor game with, and they're not realtors, and they mark it up even worse than a realtor does, in my opinion. So a lot of you guys go, oh, 150, I got 100, Rick, it's a great deal. And then I got to let you know through a program, the property's only worth 78,000. And you're like, well, what do? I go, you got to go get the right price. And I want you to understand what a FSBO is listed for. Most of the time, it's not a factual ARV. And you got to find out what they're hiding from you too. Okay, I'm moving through here. Digital bandit signs. Now, I know Zach coined this phrase, but this is the art of using AI today. Like in our free wholesaling course, we have a whole AI section, which we're updating weekly. Now, keep in mind, we're testing the data, and I don't like to just throw crap out there, but I will tell you the amount of digital stuff you can write is absolutely amazing. You can use AI through ChatGPT to write ad copy. If you're really bad and weak at this is amazing. So if you want to post Craigslist ads, do the Facebook groups, we show you like the zero marketing method. AI is absolutely amazing for this. And then really you organically reach out to these groups where you have some credentials, and then you find people say, listen, just to let you know, I buy houses for cash all the time. I love dogs. I feed them bones. I walk them. But if you guys want to get together and talk about our dogs, but if you happen to have a house you need to sell quickly, I'm your guy, and I'll hang out with your dog. Something like that. Not exactly, but like I do it in the fishing community. I've bought plenty of houses from other fishermen. Why? Because I have a natural built-in rapport and I have trust. And the problem is most people come in groups. They come into our group too, Wholesaling for Houses Real, and their immediate post is, where your cash buyers at? Or, hey, DM me. I'll show you. I got a secret way to do a zero marketing method. And every time you guys do that, you're going to get knocked out. And it's a one and done. I just don't have time for it. I don't play games on this channel. We want it done correctly. So if you guys want to go over, there's plenty of sites that you can spam. It's not going to happen here. And the next person that DM me is, why did you get kicked out of the group? The last thing me and Zach ever want to do is kick someone out of the group. But once you break the rules once, I just assume you're going to keep doing it because you don't pay attention. Go get a paid guru. I'm not going to tolerate it. Zach doesn't tolerate it. So if you join the group, if you're not going to follow the rules, you're going to try to sell stuff, not add value, and you're very selfish, you're out. If you need me to spoon feed why you got kicked out, go look at your post. I promise you, I have a screenshot. And so there's some very slick people that try to DM you. Me and Zach don't ask you for money, period. We don't do it. Okay? Like, I'm not going to do it through a DM. I promise you that. I'm never going to DM. So like, and then, oh, I didn't do it. It's like, get out. So we don't talk about digital currency, any of that crap. So honestly, we don't expose you. So many gurus for months and months, they bragged about crypto, all this other stuff. And now when someone DMs you that looks like their account, which there's a lot of scammers out there, like, oh, are they talking about this? And it gets confusing. So we want to avoid anything. We only talk about wholesaling here. So that's a good one. And last one, not last one, direct mail. I don't want you to start out doing it, but if you have the skill set to talk to people, some of you guys come from another industry where you're very good at talking to people. You should consider direct mail if you can work a budget. The key with direct mail is you got to have 3 months discipline on it. 3 months. I promise you, you will make money if you know how to talk to people. The reality is a lot of you are learning how to talk to people, and that's fine. I don't want you to practice on direct mail because it can get expensive. So maybe you wait till you do 5 or 6 deals and then you switch over to direct mail. That's my suggestion to you. Every guru wants you to start on direct mail. Why? Because it's easy for them. Because you have to pay for leads and stuff like that. If you can figure out how to craft and do wholesaling without paying for leads, other than some of the simple list services we recommend, you will do amazing things. The problem is, if you start out with direct mail or these paid services and you get a deal or two, where are you going to go from there? Because that's the only skill set you have. I'm telling you, expand your horizons, add direct mail down the road. And if you want to learn more how to do it, if you go through Mailing Mastery, I think it's mailingmastery.com. I'll post it up here. I teach you 100% for free. You got to get a good education. You got to understand someone that's done it their entire career. I know the pitfalls in direct mail. Most of the stuff you see direct mail, it doesn't work. It doesn't work because they don't understand it. I make so much money with direct mail. Like, I love it. I would never stop doing it. And if you want to explore that, me and Zach are the people to help you do it, because we are absolute experts. And we've crafted a product with a niche within it that just dominates everything. And I keep it secret for everybody in this group. So use it or lose it type of deal. It doesn't cost you anything. And the last thing is, this is one of the ways I got started on wholesaling, is I JV'd a lot. I was really good at finding motivated sellers. I sucked at the dispo side. So I would bring in other people that helped me sell the deals, and they couldn't believe I would let them make the money. But honestly, I was doing really good volume. And honestly, I was a little bit lazy on the dispo side, but that's okay. They provided a service, and I learned how to negotiate better deals, and it helped me learn dispos. So if you're going to JV with someone, if you're really good at dispos and you find someone that's really good at acquisitions, you try to swap each other's skill set, because eventually you either work together or you separate. Nobody ever does it forever. So like, if you're going to sign up with someone, dispos or acquisitions, just say, listen, I'll partner up with you, but you got to show me what you're doing. If they don't want to show it to you, run. Like, it's a really selfish mood. It's crappy. And I don't like working with people like that. There's a lot of people out there, I'll do your dispo, but I'll never tell you how to do it. Okay, well, I'll use you for a deal or two, and I go find someone else that'll help me do it, right? And I'm going to beat you guys up on this. Cold call. It works. A lot of you guys are starting with little to no money. And I'm just telling you, there is no more efficient way in cold calling, because if you had to go meet with 100 people physically, I can call 10,000 people faster than you can meet with 100. I promise you. So you're not going to do 10,000 deals. You just want to find a few people that want to work with you. But my mentality is, I look at cold calling in 10,000 batches, because I know the volume it takes. If you're looking at cold calling in batches of 2 to 3, listen, I'm not telling you to do 10,000 a day, but you have to have a goal. Like, I'll go through 10,000. If I get 10,000 no's, my persistence is I'll do another 10,000 until I get it. Because the reality is, your first 10,000, that's where you're cutting your teeth to actually learn the business. And I've never had someone actually do 10,000 cold calls with the right list, not make progress towards getting a deal. But sometimes I get people calling me like, I called 30 people and I got nothing. So, guys, I think that's it. So let's go back to the questions, and then we'll start. So guys, I know I hit you with a lot there. On the bottom of the screen, freewholesaling.com. Go check it out. It's 100% free. Honestly, is the best wholesaling course out there. Don't take my word for it. And by the way, all the testimonials I post, they're not like, people send it to me every day. Go to Wholesaling Houses for Real. So many gurus told me what I did would never work. It's going to fail miserably, and you'll never have success doing it. Dude, I've never seen a more successful course out there. Show me it. So, and people are like, oh, one day you're going to charge. Listen, free wholesaling will always be free. I will put my reputation on it, because I give out so much. It's not even funny. So I'll put that on the bottom there. And then I'll remind you guys. So let me answer some questions I marked on here. Somebody, who said that? Let's see here. Let's see. Someone's like, what's the green in the background? Well, let's see. I don't know. I don't know what today is, but someone reminded me somewhere in here. I got to go back and look. And I lost it as usual because I didn't start it. So I am fired up today. I appreciate that. Someone's got to have excitement on here. Let's see. Oh. Someone said, hey, Rick, why aren't you wearing green? Well, I got green behind me. I think that would work. And honestly, if you look there, is that green enough for you? Actually, I have these workout shoes I work out with. I don't know what I was. You ever buy something on the internet and go, I don't know what I was thinking when I bought that. And so now I'm like kind of embarrassed. Not that I'm embarrassed to wear in the gym, but like so many people come up and try to talk to you about the shoe. It was actually a really bad decision. So listen, I make mistakes too, but like, so I'll wear them around the office and then I'll probably head to the gym a little bit later today. But happy St. Patrick's Day. So yeah, money is green, but I love it. So, okay. I had one other question I was going to answer on here. Uh, um, let's see here. So I'm going to answer this question from Philly. So it's a good question, and a lot of people ask this. So it says, Rick, I don't know if you have your license. I don't. My wife does. So just to understand, um, she's my wife, and she initially got her license actually to do real estate. It had nothing to do with my wholesaling business. So she used to be a teacher. So kudos to everybody who teaches, because it is the most selfless job I think you can do, and it's really tough financially. So she doesn't teach anymore, obviously, but she loves it. So I always have a special place to teachers, because when I went to school, a lot of teachers helped me from making some really bad decisions when I was a young person, and without their influence, I might not be here today having this kind of live stream with you. I was a wild child when I was young, so I didn't have a lot of direction. And I didn't have a fatherly figure to get me through the teen years. And that's why at 33, I finally go, okay, I got it. I know what I need to do now. I wish I made the decision when I was younger. So if you got that message, take it, because it really works. So the rest of it, does she handle leads you come across that one MLS? She doesn't, but the company does. So we have agents that work under her. To be honest with you, we're very selective. Being at like the whole buyer's agent we avoid, but doing listings, because we make a nice little spread off of it. It works great. If you can partner with a licensed agent, I will tell you this. If you're going to be a wholesaler, my recommendation, this is just my opinion, so like take it for what it's worth. Getting your license as a wholesaler, in my opinion, puts you in a more vulnerable position than without it. Why? Because now you're held to the level of a real estate agent. And keep in mind, you are not doing real estate agent stuff. So they're trying to write statutes to fix wholesaling by regulating it through a real estate license. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a realtor. I don't want to be a realtor, and that's my problem with that whole thing. Why would I go get my realtor's license to be a wholesaler? What, to satisfy some loophole? I get it. So if you can have an affiliation with a licensed real estate agent, and honestly, you can get what they call a marketing fee. You're not allowed to earn a commission. You're not even allowed to earn a referral fee. Those are illegal. But you can get a marketing fee because you spent your hard-earned time, energy, or money getting the lead, and you should be compensated for it. And you say, hey, the next one is, what's the average percentage? I ask for a third. It's aggressive, but you don't get what you don't ask for. I fight too hard for my money. The least amount I would ever take is 25%. So 25 is the minimum. I actually ask for 35 on every one of them. Why? Because I hand them people like easily, but I always have it built in. If you can't sell the property, then if you have to revisit the price, let's come back and talk. And dude, getting a license is a real hassle. And listen, I don't have a one all fixes answer, but having people come out and tell you everyone just needs to get licensed. I'm here to tell you, a majority of you guys that get your license and think you're protected, you get tons of complaints. Why? Because people don't understand what wholesalers do. I'm not here to explain to realtors what I do for the most part. I am nothing more than a cash buyer to a realtor. And then the good ones, I teach them how to filter me the properties that they can't sell traditionally or they haven't put on the market yet. That's where it works the best. Trying to go on MLS and buy stuff as a wholesaler, guys, it is a huge conflict of interest. Like, think about it. And keep in mind, if someone doesn't like what you're doing, they report you to the board of realtors and you have to answer every one of them. Not only you, your broker does, and it becomes a pain in the butt. I had somebody within this group, someone told them to get their license because it'll help them. They have 9 complaints so far. They've on their 3rd broker because nobody wants wholesalers because they're a risk to their license. And the fees are astronomical with errors and omissions insurance. I'm just telling you guys, when you're starting out at the level, if you started out as a realtor and you converted, I get it. You might as well just kind of keep it if you want. But if you're just keeping it for listings, eventually you're going to wind up being a realtor, in my opinion. So it just worked out well when my wife decided to do it. Honestly, we didn't know what we were doing when we did it. And she just enjoys that part. And honestly, she likes to deal with the waterfront, $1 million homes in Florida. And why not? You can sell a few properties and make a ton of money. And that's where her passion is. And then she directs a team that helps us sell our properties. Only a small percentage of our properties go retail. Like, I'm not a big fix and flipper because it's such a pain in the butt, especially in today's market. But hopefully that answers the question there. So, okay, let's jump on the lives. Tyrone, you there? I can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself.
All right, my bad.
That's all right, man. How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing?
Good. What you wearing today, man? You got your green on?
White, no green. I didn't even know today was St. Patrick's Day.
I didn't either, man. But I saw they turned to Chicago River green, and like I never understand that because like in Florida, if like you drop like one, like if you spill like your beer can in the river, like the police come, the Coast Guard comes,
Wow.
and you get like a $10,000 fine. So somebody please tell me in this live stream how you turn an entire river green. Are there no fish?
Yeah.
Are there no birds? Like, it's crazy, man. What are the turtles? Let me tell you what. Can you imagine if all our air turned green around us? Like, we are really bad as human beings sometimes, man. It's like, and you're like I'm again, like I always feel like I go, maybe I just be called McGinnis today, and people pronounce my last name. And that like it's like an Irish holiday. I know America has a lot of Irish roots, especially in the Northeast, man. But it's crazy. I think it's the only day Notre Dame matters. But
yeah,
that's a cheap shot. I know it's terrible. So
yeah.
What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
What's going on, man? Well, basically, man, I've been wholesaling for like a year. I've done like 2 deals, but it's just been stagnant ever since after that. I've been a one-man band since I started, and I'm just kind of tired of that, man. Like, I'd rather just be on the acquisition side and just find deals and just pass it on to someone else. But I can't find someone that's serious. Everyone claims to be serious as me, but I don't hear from them like 2 or 3 days, and then they start complaining about how it's not working. And I just rather be around people that's positive and want to keep, trying at this thing, because I'm in it.
So what's your specific question? Because I agree with everything you're saying to a point. But like we got to try to solve a problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. I guess with FSBOs, I heard y'all say 70%. So no matter what the pricing of the property is always going to be 70%.
Remember, that is a kind of shoot over the bow like test, because we can't pay retail for FSBOs for obvious reasons. I said the biggest challenge I see with JVing with you guys, which I appreciate everybody JVs with us, is a lot of you guys think the price put on FSBO is the set price. And I'm here to tell you, 9 times out of 10, it's not. So a lot of sellers play games with you. So the property's worth $100,000 and they put it on the market at 150 and you cut them down to 100, you mentally think, dude, I just won the lottery. And then the reality sets in when you call your cash buyers, like, I ain't paying you more than like 78 for that property. Guys, time and time, this is like a huge pattern I see. And if you just go and do your ARV beforehand and just like, you can take in consideration what they put on the market with, but that doesn't mean that's not the ARV for it. So if you use that as a false sense of security, what the ARV is, forget what the fix up and what the condition of the property is. If you can't start at like a 70% of ARV, like, remember, it's just a starting point to a point. How are you going to negotiate? Like, if you're trying to take off their list price. And so I teach people to just ignore it, because it doesn't matter what they list it for. It's really, what is the property worth and what's the discount you can get? Most of the time on FSBOs, if you can have people that have properties that sit on the market for at least, in my opinion, 90 days plus and multiple price reductions, it usually indicates there's some sort of issue. Now, sometimes the seller's just crazy. Like I deal with this all the time. And I got to tell you, the wealthier they are, the more difficult they are. And I get really frustrated on high-end properties, but like, that's the game I'm learning. So I want to work with people that want to sell that need to sell the property, not want to sell. So that 70% helps you filter the want versus the need quickly. Because listen, if you've ever owned something you want to get rid of, and like you've had it for a while and it's eating you alive, dude, I've been a motivated seller. I have been I've had boats I wanted to sell because I was motivated. I I own a lot of stuff right now. I have on the market. Just it's frustrating sometimes, and sometimes you get to the point like, let me just sell the dang thing. Like, and then like I like to hit people a level of frustration. Like they're like, hey, I want to sell it. Like, are you for real? And I just did a deal that I worked on for a year and a half on a commercial deal, and the guy just couldn't sell it. I knew he had a problem, but I had to wait out the year and a half. So I let the market speak. The market basically said, we're not giving you an offer as is. So we had a major roof issue on a commercial building. And I finally shot an offer that I was embarrassed to submit. And he's like, hey, if you can add like 40 grand to it, I think we might be able to do something. And then we haggled for another 2 weeks and I got it done. But I had to wait him out and it was frustrating. But if you can find people that have a problem, that's how wholesaling works. The problem is we chase everybody who wants retail, which unfortunately is what you're going to do with FSBOs. You have to find a way to filter them. Otherwise, they just drive you nuts all day. So I look for multiple price reductions. I like 100 days plus. I got a shot. Someone's got to be able to move on those properties because a lot of people, like the odds are either they have it majorly overpriced, but odds are there's a problem with the property. It's ugly or like there's some terrible repair and they don't want to be honest with people. And eventually, I used to use the line on FSBOs. I said, are you tired of playing the games? And a lot of times they go, and you know what it is. Like right now I'm selling an asset. It's on the water. This is a deal I actually got with real estate and dude, it cost me a fortune. And I'm playing the game now. And like, I hired someone to help me. It's just a nightmare. It's like, I go, just find me someone who wants to make me an offer. I'll make this so easy. I'm looking for that type of person because if Rick Ginn can be that person, that means anybody can be it. It's all a timing issue. That's all it is. That's why you have to have massive volume in FSBO because that's the only way. Now, as market conditions change, you all notice people talking about, oh my God, bank failures. I was talking to some sellers this week and they're like, oh my God, the banks are failing. We got to do something. It's just emotional decisions. Guys, there are issues with the banking system, but it's not affecting homeowners. I'm sorry. Yeah. If you have 250K in the bank, you're insured. Like, I don't think you have to worry about it. I'm not going to talk about how the government operates this stuff, but the reality is like, so you watch CNN or Fox and go, oh my God, there's a bank failure. Sometimes you hit people at the right time. I will tell you when the stock market has a huge bounce, like whenever, when we went through the pandemic and like those triggers hit where they had to stop the stock market. Oh my God, it's a great day for cold calling because like everybody feels the fear. So if you know media drives the most amount of fear, I don't want you guys watching the TV, but you need to be.
I don't watch my TV.
So I limit myself to 10 minutes of news just to kind of get a pulse of what's going on. And I walk away. Yeah. Because all they do is repeat the same crap over and over. So, the 70% is to help you just get a filter because like you can't sit here screwing around people at 90, 95%. So you're in realtor territory and you have no business being there and you got to find a way to get through it.
So y'all stay right there at 100 days. Y'all don't go no lesser than 100 days.
90, like 90. Because 90. Okay. The thing is, the market has a cruel way of reminding people that they're wrong. Okay. So instead of you, Tyrone, saying you're wrong, going, listen, after 3 months, something's wrong. Either the property is a dump or you just don't know how to price it or you don't know how to talk to people. Okay. So any of those three is an open door. The problem is you got to stack the odds in your favor. Because the reality is you're not a retail buyer. And if you try to act like I have so many people try, well, I got it for 85%, but he's motivated. I go, well, what are you going to do with it? Unless you want to own it yourself. Wholesaling, guys, you got to find people with problems. You got to solve it, move on. And you got to get rid of the retail game in between. It's a pain in the ass, but that's what comes with FSBOs. The only way you can make up with it is volume. Okay. If I talk to a couple hundred people, there's usually 3 or 4 that I can even like try to work, and then you're still molding and claying with them. So you're always working with people. Listen, I already told you the challenge with FSBOs, it seems really easy up front. It's a perfect concept. That's why a lot of people sell courses and everything on it. You get the phone number, you know the price, you know the seller, they want to sell. Great. The problem is they're trying to get the highest and best price for it. You're trying to do the exact opposite. So you see the conflict of interest. Now, most people BS to a point. They want to sell it. Now, why does somebody sell a FSBO, Tyrone? Why do you think? Why don't you think?
Well, from talking to a lot of sellers, they just be trying to save money. They say they don't want to deal with all of that. With the
the reality is, they would actually they would take home more money if they used a realtor. It's the truth.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah.
not advocating for realtors, but if the realtor does everything for you, they know how to professionally negotiate. They get whatever 5 or 6%. They'll probably get it done quicker. The reality is, this is a national argument. The realtor fees baked into the sale price. So
Mhm.
in essence, the buyer pays for the realtor, not the seller. So it's very short-sighted for a lot of realtors to list FSBOs. I
Okay.
do this all the time. I've done them both ways. I honestly make more money when I list it with a realtor. But
Okay.
they're stubborn, and that's what you're dealing with. So the reality is they want to get rid of the 6%. They want to get rid of some of the transactions and closing costs. So on average, they expect a 10% discount. But the problem is they price it just like they are a realtor, and
Yeah.
none of the service comes with it, and all the drama comes with it. And the reality is you got to get them down to a number where they'll negotiate. So I always just try to play with them. But if somebody lists a FSBO on day 3 and you call,
Yeah. You're not getting nothing on day
it's like
3.
torture, man. It's
Yeah, you're
like
not
you've
getting
got to be
nothing.
like, and I just don't want you guys to do that. Same thing on MLS. It's the exact same thing. If a realtor lists and the client wants tippy top dollar and you know it's overpriced, every deal that I put on MLS, I get these BS contracts because these people teach us the course because I get the exact same buyers. I
Mhm.
tried them once and they never followed through. They didn't have the money. They were trying to wholesale it on me. I gave it a shot because of a property that wasn't selling. But understanding, guys, when you go to market, the reason why people are telling you to do a lot is because it just seems really easy on the front. So if you want to take that strategy, it's not the worst. But the
Mhm.
reality is you got to find people that have issues. And how do you filter those people out? If you call every
Mhm.
FISBO, it hurt, it's like annoying. It's like, I get it, dude. I've done it. I hate it. Zach's much
Yeah.
better at it. Zach just enjoys it, but you only
Yeah.
have so much time in the day, and that's the challenge. So we use some basic filters. You guys have to adapt them to your style, but the reality is on FSBOs and MLS, you have to find problems. And
Mhm.
so how do you find problems? You look for clues. If it's not selling and there's multiple price reductions, I promise you there's a story behind that property. And that's it. If you call every FSBO, you can do it, but you have to play a volume game. And most
Yeah.
people aren't willing to do it. Calling 30 FSBOs, guys, will not get you a deal. You might get lucky, but for the most part, it's going to suck. It's just
Mm.
the truth. So that's why we want you chasing down government lists, doing all that. Why? Because they point you in the direction of a problem.
Yeah, I've been trying, but I haven't gotten anything. I've been pulling the code enforcements and probates. I
I'll do the
haven't.
government list all day long over the FSBOs. Now,
Okay.
why we recommend doing FSBOs up front, especially people short of money, because you do craft your conversation. And honestly, when you start getting better at talking to people, then you should have a better conversion rate. And then you can start switching to some more advanced lists, even government lists. And then you can even do small paid lists. And that's worth it. And then eventually you graduate to direct mail. That's why I never recommend people starting out with direct mail, because I struggled when I talked to people when I did direct mail. Someone taught me you got to do direct mail up front. Dude, it was a 6-month hell journey for me because I was
Mm,
scared to death to write those checks. So I didn't know how to talk to people.
mm.
So I learned the more you talk to people, the better you get at this game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've gotten way better at talking with people. I've gotten way better.
Just keep
Like,
doing it. Remember, Tyrone, look for clues for problems. Where there's problems, there's opportunity for wholesalers.
okay.
This thing where people tell you just go straight to FSBO, that's fine. If you can find problems within FSBOs, you'll increase your odds. But if you're going to do straight FSBOs, is a numbers game, period.
Mm,
MLS, the exact same thing. But like, guys, think about this. Somebody lists an MLS. You send an offer, a contract, waste all that time. What are the odds of it? Like, you're going to have to do hundreds and hundreds of contracts. You're going to have some sort of automation system to do that. And I'm just not a big
yeah,
fan of it. Like now,
yeah,
old listings, expired listing, a whole new ball game. But that's
yeah.
the problem. And like, I don't like to fish in a pond where there's no fish that want to bite.
So
See a lot of fish, and that's the bait. Oh my God, look at all these houses for sale. But if they all want tippy top dollar, like I just don't want to waste my time in them. I got to find an opportunity. Find a problem, find an opportunity.
so even with on markets, if they over like 120 days, you suggest not to do those either.
So you just got to decide what your filters are. So the main thing is go back to look to the deals did you have success, and just duplicate it until you could keep stacking the numbers, and then you can take some risk and go out from her. You just need to get a deal now. Like I've been there, dude. Like I hit it out of the gang park in my first like 6 months, and then I struggled for 3 months. I'm just like, maybe I should quit. I didn't quit. I thought about it. but like I just kept going, and and you just start to find little clues. And a lot of the stuff is just your mind opening up like, okay, I get it. Guys, the one thing you have to understand in wholesaling, if you can find problems, you have an opportunity. If you think you're going to get a deal on a straight retail deal, like even realtors struggle on those deals. That's why they overprice them to play games with everybody. So hunt for problems. That's why I always tell you government lists, code violations, everything, all that stuff, just hunt like crazy. And then we break it down to free wholesaling and try to show you ways that, hey, here's the issues with pre-foreclosures. I went through an entire series. You guys can Google it. You can go on YouTube and find it out. I show you the sweet spot in pre-foreclosures. Don't waste your time. Either you hit them up front or move on with your life because they want to dance with you forever. And they call you at the very end to try to give a Hail Mary and you can't help them. As a newbie, it's just impossible. So I want you to understand there's a million ways to do this. I would hunt for problems, Tyrone. I think you've got the message clear from this one.
Okay. I appreciate you, Rick.
Okay, man. I'll talk to you. See you. Hunter, what's up?
Hey, Zach, what's up?
It's Rick.
I mean, Rick, my bad.
Dude, that's a compliment because my son's much younger than I am. And how old are you again, Hunter?
I'm 18.
Okay, so you're close enough to Zach's age. So
Yeah.
what's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
Okay, so last time I spoke to you and Zach, I think I spoke to you last week about pulling these lists, and the thing is, like I said, I don't have any money to do anything, so I can't purchase the list. But almost I can't go to for the courthouse for like all the pre-foreclosures, probates, all that. I can't do those because they require like a whole subscription fee.
How much? How much we talking here?
I think it's like $160 or something like that.
Is that per year?
No, per month.
That's insane. You're talking about, so which list in particular?
Just for all the courthouse, like they don't give you access to the documents up front.
So what state are you in?
Louisiana. And then I also did I'm waiting. The only one I have hopes for right now is code violations, because I emailed them, but he said it's kind of a lengthy process to receive that list. And then but for water shutoffs and fire damage, they both also require a fee.
Okay. So all you are is getting fee, right?
Yeah. So I'm wondering if I should just keep trying to do it.
So let me ask you, did they ask you for a fee for a foreclosure list?
No, I was asking for probates, but it's like it's organized to where you can't access any like type of documents without.
So have you gone in person or did you get this over the phone?
Over the phone.
Okay. So you got to listen, like Hunter, you got to go in person to get what you want. So an email is, I guarantee you all I know. A phone, about a 30% probability. Sometimes you have counties that just make it easier. In person, it's very hard to turn down. I know it seems like, let me ask you, are you concerned going in person? I get it. It's a pain in the butt to get in a car or get a ride to do it. Do you have a way you can get down to the courthouse?
Yeah, I wanted to say that too. I can, like, I talked to them and they said their computers, they get access. Like, you don't have to pay unless you're printing, I guess. But they get access to all of it once you're at the courthouse.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I can try to find a way to get there, like some time of the day. But my thing is, I don't know how to. Once I get there, I'm not gonna know how to like even pull it all up or like organize it. Like, do I just email it to myself? Like how?
So the first thing I do as Hunter is you have access to the internet, obviously. So what you want to do is research, like probates, find out what the statutes and how it works, particularly in your state. Well, counties vary a little bit, but for the most part, they got to follow rules of the state. So you understand the process and you understand the definitions. You got to do a little bit of homework. This is where some schooling pays off. Then you go in person, you got like a basic education, and then you're going to ask higher quality questions, and they know you know what you're talking about. When you walk in these places and you say, hey, I need the customer service department and you need to just give me the list, they get pissed because you're basically going to make them work and it annoys the crap out of them. So you've got to understand, you have to go in there like with some authority and confidence. And if you're going to be a wholesaler, you're going to have to learn the skill set anyway. So you might as well rip the Band-Aid off. Somebody in that courthouse has the procedures to get access to that information because You're telling me everyone's got to get access, has to pay. It's it's not right. It's ridiculous. Now, 165, if you had access to everything, a full thing, it might be worth it. I've never seen any courthouse that allows you to do that. Never once. So I've even had to use tricks where I had to work with title companies and lawyers to get access to probates in particular states and counties. But like, you just got to figure out what the rules of the game. You ever play Monopoly?
Love that game.
Have you played it?
Yeah.
Have you ever read the rules to it?
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, I like playing by the rules. I don't like getting cheated.
If you read the rules to Monopoly, you could beat anybody, because you can, like, when you run out of money, like, you can do creative things in Monopoly and it's all written in the rules. It's just, Monopoly is very close to life. Most people don't read the rules, and that's how they get screwed. So if you know what the rules are, it's much easier. The only way to find out the rules for, like, so it's not a matter if it's public information, it's privacy policies. You got to find a way to gently navigate around the privacy policies. And listen, you're not going to get every list, but like, dude, if you think I knew how to do all this stuff, I would go down to the courthouse and I would just sweet talk everybody I humanly possibly could. And then when I hit a roadblock, I would bring in other people. I go, hey, I tried this. I got screwed on this one. And then I would send in, for full disclosure, I sent my wife in. I go, don't say this, because she's going to get really ticked off. And then my wife walked out with the whole dang list, and then she got access to everything. So sometimes it's just us. But I tell you on the phone, dude, listen, if you ever break up with somebody on the phone, it's easy. Try doing it in person. It's painful. And it's just the truth. People don't like the confrontation. They just makes them uneasy. You have to understand too, the second thing is you got to learn to try to overcome people's objections when they give it to you, especially in person. Studies show if you can overcome anyone's objection twice, they feel obligated to help you out. And a lot of times you go, listen, I'm just doing some research. Dude, you're young enough, you can get away with the school thing all day long. Hey, I'm doing a research project for my school. I'm trying to figure out how many probates per capita based on this county. And my professor told me to come down and get the public data from the county. Would you be the places I get it? Yeah. And just now, are you lying? You're stretching it, but dude, you can pull it off. I can't. They're like, dude, what school are you going to? Old school. But anyways, I'm just telling you, you got to be creative, dude. Because if you I would love to have all you call on the phone if it was that easy. Dude, everybody would do wholesaling. The reality is challenging, and you got to fight through these lists. I just want you to get 1 or 2 lists. That's it. Have you talked to your title company about it, or a title company?
No, I was only going to get in contact with the title company once I had a deal,
Do it now. So you got to do this stuff ahead of time and just say, listen, do you know any way that I can get access to, like, I would start with like probates or something, because they have high success rate, or like code violations. Guys, like, you're not the only one. I would also find other wholesalers in your area, because you're not the first person in that area to struggle getting a list. Somebody has the key. You got to just figure it out. There's always a way to get this. There's an employee behind that desk that has all the information on their screen. I got in trouble today. I went over to a bank. They were giving me a hard time about something. And she goes, well, she said this in the email about your company and you can't do this. And I go, wow, that's interesting. You guys put it in writing. I didn't know you were practicing. I didn't know you were my legal staff. And she's like, well, you can't look at this information. I go, well, I already looked at it. So you already know how to do it. Let's figure out how to get this done. She just sent me an email. It goes, bring me these 3 docs and I'll get the account straightened out and done on Monday. Honestly, I had to look over on her screen. I'm not stupid. Like, I know what to do with people. So you're young, but like, it's an asset. So just use patience and just respect your elders when you get in there, and just ask people kindly. Guys, when it comes to business, when people frustrate you, you got to keep your emotions in check, because escalating it, you get them excited and they get all pissed off. Just go into, you got nothing to lose. If not, we'll point you another direction and find another way to do it. You got to get access to 1 or 2 of these lists to get you started.
Yeah.
And once you exhaust every avenue, I'll help you. But dude, you got to go in there and fight too. You have to overcome resistance with persistence, and you got to play with people. So when they give you these BS answers, so I got to go back to my professor and tell them that I can't get access to this information. How am I supposed to get this data? Where would I get it from? Can you point me in the right direction? I could do, lady, just help me out. I don't want to fail my class. Like, Guys, you got to push on people's heartstrings and stuff like that. Get down there. But listen, do me a favor, Hunter. Do as much research as you can before there, because if you don't know what you're talking about, they're not going to help you out as much. Just understand, like probates, you got to understand if it's an executor or a PR. You got to ask, who can open the petition, stuff like that. All that they have to put online by law, and just find out. And go, listen, according online, it said I need to go to this site, but I can't find it. If I want to come in and just pull records, how can I do that for doing my research project? And tax delinquency, there's got to be a way to get it. Like, I don't think they can legally charge you. Now, they're trying to hide behind a policy because they're trying to tell you I have to use a programmer to special order and get you this data. And you got to find a way, hey, how can you just give me the data? Like, I don't want to go through all these. Like, I get it, but like, I'm a student. I don't have a lot of money. It is the truth. And go from there. Just do me a favor, Hunter, exhaust it, push it. And this is a skill set that's going to help you out in wholesaling, because guess what? I have the same issues you do in my local area. I just been doing it for 20 years. I've had enough conversations. I know how to navigate through them. And honestly, we struggle with the water shut off terribly in our area, but it doesn't mean we stop. We keep trying all the time. You got to push. Don't get hung up on it. Go and exhaust it. But if you're saying you went far as you can on the phone, that's not the truth. So you got to hold yourself accountable and push. I know it's a pain in the butt, but like, welcome to wholesaling, man. You got to just like man up on this stuff and get it done. And then when you hit a complete dead end, we'll come back on and I'll keep fighting for it. But I want you to keep pushing it as hard as you can. And guys, when I say push, it doesn't mean piss people off and attack them. It just means, hey, Rick, I've done everything you said. I'm exhausted. The phone call, I get it. It's convenient, but you got to go a step further. And if you got 5 or 6 lists, try to just get 1 or 2 by the next time we talk. And then we can attack that list.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got a question because I forgot to mention, but I also did tax delinquency. And this is the oldest I feel like I've done because, well, it took me a while. I was like calling for like an hour or two, just calling different people because it was like a confusing process on how to get to it.
Yeah.
But I finally got to it. But I'm confused as to like what it all like. Basically, it says, okay, whenever I talked to them, they said they couldn't give me they were telling me they couldn't give it to me. They couldn't give me the list because they haven't got the 2023 or 2022 information on the tax yet. Just
tell them to give you last year's list.
Yeah. So
Same thing.
I was like, can I get the 2022 year? And then like, they told me, well, yeah. And they directed me on who to call, where to go, and stuff like that. Okay. And I finally got to something, and it's basically just mentions, it said like the list is like the tax year, the year adjusted, the parcel, the bill, the name, the physical address, and the legal. Is that like what the list is? It's because
it's a lot of data, and if so, here's another clue: the people that gave you the list, they know what every one of those columns mean. So just take a pen and pad and just take a note thing. Once you have the list, just print out like 1 page. And then when you go down to your county office to talk to them, just ask. Like us as men, we're terrible at asking for stuff. A lady will do this all day long. Ask my wife. Dude, I could be lost, physically lost, and somebody walk by with a map. You let your ego get in the way and go, I'm not going to ask. Just freaking ask. It's faster. I'm telling you, man. Like my secret to a lot of my success, I just sat there and I used the people that write the privacy policies. Tell me how to do it. Now, you can do a bunch of research online. You can hire a specialist. But I'm just telling you, go to the people that write it and they'll tell you, oh, this one means this. This one means this. And a lot of times, honestly, with Google and stuff, you can so answer the questions you can on your own, and the ones that make no sense to you, go down there with a pen and pad and go, hey, what does this mean? And just go, dude, I'm just a regular kid. I don't understand what it means. If you listen, I'm a big firm believer is I never show people what my worth is. Like I'm a regular Joe, dude. Like honestly, but I don't go, oh, I have millions of dollars. I own all this property. You got to tell me this. I go, dude, I'm just a regular Joe. Can you walk me through this? Because the minute you try to be a superior on people, they don't like it. And it's embarrassing to them. So you going in, just say, dude, you're young. You don't have a lot of money, and that's perfect. And you're telling the truth. So just go in there and use that. Go, can you explain this to me like at a kid's level? Remember, if you can learn anything on a 3rd grade level, you can master it majorly. Most people are taught through jobs in college, you have to be an expert on everything. No, just explain it to me. I'm a regular dude. Okay? It's easy, dude. Just go in there and ask them. You're kind of going about don't get lost in the weeds on this stuff. Your job is to locate people that need to sell their house. So the faster you can figure out these lists and sort them out, but keep in mind, dude, you're 18. I know it's taking a little bit longer. I didn't start till I was 33. So honestly, you got like 15 years ahead of me to master this stuff. Just take a month and master it all. And once you master it, you're going to be shocked on how many people you can find after this. So I get it. You're having some challenges with it. Just keep going. And your age is not an object. It's an asset. Just keep going. Like, honestly, you can get away with a lot more than someone like me at my age. Like, you're an old man, get out of here. Like, we don't do this stuff.
Yeah.
So I send my wife in, she looks like she's 18. It's like she gets away with murder. So use your youth as an asset. Just say, go in with like your school binder, stuff like that, dude. Like, nobody says no to a young person trying to get ahead in their life. They really don't. And I'm telling you, use it as an asset. That's how I taught Zach. He's like, holy crap, this stuff works. I go, I told you. So there's a lot of guys and gals on this life that can't do what you can do. So use it as an asset, okay? You just got to fight through it, dude. Get through the list. What else you got?
That's really it. I guess I'm gonna just
Okay. Hunter, just exhaust it. Like, push it to the limit. You're going to learn wholesaling. You can't just try stuff. You got to go all in. The worst they're going to do is tell you no. They're not going to hurt you. So I love what you're doing. You just got to keep pushing, and you got to go faster and harder. Okay.
Okay.
You got it, man. Dude, you're 15 years ahead of the game. Make the years count. You got it.
All right. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, man. See you.
See you.
Dan, what's going on? You there? Dan. Jesus, you there?
I'm here, Rick. How you doing?
How you doing, man? Dan,
Good, man. Good.
I'll come right back to you, okay?
It won't take too long.
Dude.
I have a few
I see you
questions.
guys chewing on your lunch, and you're like making me starve here. And I'm sitting here on St. Patty's Day.
Oh,
Crazy, man. What's going on, man? What can I help you out with?
Hey, I have a few questions. So I started last week cold calling, and I already found a few motivated sellers.
Okay.
I have a guy that is motivated to sell. He has solar panels, and he's renting them. He's paying them right now. How would I go about that?
So I'm an expert on solar panels. So you guys, I did it. So I did one of my houses. I lived in it for a while, but I wound up selling it. I did the whole house in the Tesla solar panels with the power walls. So I know exactly how this works. So ask me your specific question, and I can answer.
So when I try to find a buyer, how do I add in the solar panels in there? Do I need it?
So is the
I don't know how to
person
sell it
that's
with them.
so is the house being rented, or is the seller looking to liquidate the house?
He's looking to sell the house.
Okay. Does he have a renter in it?
He has a renter in there, but he wants to get him out already.
So simply ask the seller, does he lease the solar panels or does he own them?
He leased them. He just had him for 3 years. He still has to pay him.
So ask him. So if you want to get in the weeds on it, ask him what his payment is and what the cost savings is on it. Because that's what everybody wants. So most people are horrified of solar panels. What state are we talking about?
Nevada.
Okay. So you guys got good sunlight there. So it's a good state for it. So most of the time, solar panels are an asset to a house. You much prefer when they own it because they just record a lien like a mortgage on the property and it gets satisfied when it gets sold, or they can transfer it. But the reality is when they lease it, people try to get into it for cheap. So the only way you can have them, so you have to look at the contract, and there's rules within the contract when the property gets sold. So I would find out if he's serious about it and you got a good deal, find out what the rules are. And then most of the time it's stupid to pull them out. Here's the challenge with solar panels. Do you know if they went through the roof on it or they wrapped it around the roof?
Honestly, I don't know. I'm going to walk the property
these
with
questions
him.
Because for most solar panels, just so you guys know, they got to punch a hole in the roof. It's heart-wrenching when they do it to your own home. But that's the cleanest way to get all the piping and all the wiring and feed the cells. So a lot of times they do lease, they'll run it on the side of the building and over, because if it ever expires, they're not doing damage to the house. Because the reality is taking that solar panel down, if they punched it through the roof, it's really costly. And someone's going to have to eat that bill. So the reality is in Nevada or like a state like Florida, where they get a lot of sunshine, is they use it to offset their energy cost. And so he knows what the savings is on it. And that's, in my opinion, if it's cost effective, why not just keep it on there and transfer it over? So say if it costs $200 a month to have, but it offsets his energy cost by $200, then I would leave him there. But some
Okay.
people sign some but here's the problem. Some people sign some crazy financing agreements or lease terms, and you got to know what they are. So
Yeah,
just read
according
the
to
rules.
him,
Yeah.
he has a really good deal and he's saving a lot of money. So I'm gonna ask for the contract so I can go over it.
But like, listen, here's the deal. Like, here's what I say to people. I appreciate you putting those solar panels on it. It has no value to you and me. You can't tell them I'd pay you more for it because it actually complicates the deal. The crazy part is I've sold a lot of houses with solar panels. I've sold even little rental houses with them. People, like a lot of people, are scared of them. They don't understand them and they're confusing. So for that point, I don't give them a premium for it. Now, if you have an entire Tesla system and stuff like that, it's a $180,000 program, and that's a whole different. But most of them are these
Normal.
yeah, they're
regular.
and they're ugly, and a lot of people don't like to look at them. So honestly, as many people as you attract, you chase as many people away, and that's not a great thing for wholesale. So don't pay a premium for it. Number one, find out what the rules for terminating his lease or when the property gets sold, because every property eventually gets sold. They got to have some sort of clause in there. I assume there's a transfer, and they usually charge like $150 to put a new owner on it. But if it's going to be a homeowner type house, do you know if it's going to wind up being a homeowner type house or a rental house? You think in the long run,
It's probably gonna be a rental property.
So that would be a benefit to a renter, though, wouldn't it? Because it offsets their. So listen, just find out if they went through the roof, what the terms of the lease are, and how they transfer it. And remember, it's just a minor little inconvenience type of deal. Just figure it out. If he needs to sell it. Worst case scenario, they just dismantle it and take it back. So
Okay,
they have the
I'm
ability.
gonna
If he doesn't make payments on it, they just hop on there and repo the system. So
check it out.
I'm hoping it's not through the roof, because you can't just repo and leave a hole in someone's roof.
I'm gonna ask that question.
Yeah, the hole through the roof's like a couple grand, like type of maintenance. And honestly, once you compromise the roof like that, it's really hard to like shingle. It looks ugly. But
Yeah.
let me ask you,
home.
do the panels look ugly?
No, they look pretty new. They were put in 2.5 years ago.
Yeah. So remember, this is just part of the math equation. But here's the key is, unless it's an incredibly complicated system where they cover the whole roof in like Tesla tiles, do not pay a premium for it, because the end buyers are like, okay, I'll take it, but I don't want it. That's what they always say to me. Even when I sold $1 million house, they're like, okay, I'll take it, but I don't want it. Like most people are scared of them. They think it's crazy. And some of them are right. Sometimes it's beneficial, but if you're in a very sunny state, sometimes it is a huge help. But you got to understand, putting $100,000 in the system to save a couple $100 a month, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, and they're very popular here.
Yeah, so if they're popular and you're in a sunny state, but like in some states, like I know California, like they're mandating it, but like up in the Northeast, it's not even cost effective. And when they get covered in snow, you can't even use them for a few months out of the year. You got to keep dumping snow off them. They all say, "Oh, the snow slides." It doesn't slide off of them. And then I get these. We have these. What do they call them?
Monsoons.
We have a type of bird here. I forget. It's a big giant bird. They're dumber. They're crane creeks or something like that. But when they go to the bathroom, they have this beautiful ability to dump it right on your solar panel, and they're black, and it looks like crap. And then I had to hire a guy 3 times a year to go up there and scrub it off. I don't know why they just crap on my solar panels, but like nobody told me about this. Wow. And the guy goes, well, when it rains, but when it doesn't rain for 2 or 3 months, like we have now, like they're covered in crap. Birds like to sit on them. So there's a lot of maintenance feature. And then there's issues with the roof when you do it. So just find out the details. Just part of the math problem.
I'm going to, I have another question.
Go ahead.
Okay. I have another property that the guy is going through a divorce. He owns the house, and they have to sell. He said they want to sell, but he said that he's waiting for the judge to let him know when he can sell. Do you have any? I'm pretty sure you have experience with those type of properties.
Remember, yeah. Well, thank God I don't have any experience in divorce, other than my own parents, which was a disaster. Like everybody else has to deal with that crap. But My biggest challenge with the divorce is usually one party reaches out to you and the other one fights you on it. So are they do you have two people working together to try to sell the property?
No, I reached out to the
Yeah.
husband. The wife is still living at the property. The husband is living somewhere else. He said that they both want to sell, but they don't. They're waiting on. He said the judge and the lawyer to let them know when they can start looking to sell.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you my experience with divorce and wholesaling. The problem is usually have one highly motivated property. One of the partners is like they just want out, and the other one holds out for like full blood. And so before you ever do enter in any divorce like thing, make sure you have consent of both parties, or you're wasting your time. So a lot of times, if the husband reaches out to you, the wife, the soon to be ex, thinks you're enemy number one too. And I've gotten all the way to the closing table and like, oh my God. So I've had success with them, but like it's when two people can like be mature enough to just go, okay, it's over. Let's get rid of it. Let's move on. We got some challenge with the house. I want to move on. If you don't have that consent up front, then do not waste your energy, because you cannot referee that fight, dude. And God, if there's children involved, it's even worse.
Yeah. Would
So
I have to be involved if I wholesale it? Would I have to be involved with the judge and the lawyer or any of that?
No,
No.
they need consent to sell it. That's it. So they're never setting the price. The price is always going to be set by the married couple. And the problem is sometimes the guy's just like, dude, I want out. Maybe they feel guilty for something they did. And the wife's like, no way, I got to raise my kids here and you don't have the full story. So I've got a lot of those calls. So just make sure you sniff it out, because if you spend a lot of energy and time and find out one of the partners isn't going to sign the deed at the closing table, you're literally wasting your time. So
Okay.
make sure you find that out and go, listen, I respect you, but because here's a lot of questions. We go, listen, do I have to involve my wife in the sale of this? And I go, dude, it's a divorce. Like, yes. Oh, well, forget it. Okay. You can't, dude. Like most states, you need consent anyways. Even if you have a good marriage and you want to sell something, one can't sell without the consent of the other. So just make sure I go, listen, how does your wife feel about this? I get it. It's difficult. Can I have her number and just talk to her? And if he tells you can't talk to her, heed the warning, dude. It means they're on really bad terms. And guess who pulled you into it, Zeus? He pulled you into it. And now you are on the same level as him and you are against her, and you wind up in this fight. Like, you're done with it. Like, dude, I'm never going to get married after I see stuff like that. But listen, I got to have consent, because it's just, I get it. It's hard. But a lot of times when it's fresh in the divorce, people make irrational decisions and call wholesalers because they want to fix a problem fast. There's no fast fix to the divorce. You got to go through the right channels. The price is always set by the people that own the property. The judge just says they want to make sure everyone's represented correctly. So they'll ask, are you good with it? To the wife, to the husband, are you good with it? And if one objects, then they have to come to an agreement. So a lot of the divorce decrees, they have to argue on what the value of the house is. And a lot of time, one wants $1 million and the other wants it just done. They don't want any money from it. And that's when a judge gets involved. And that's when you get appraisals and all that other crap, and it gets tough. So every now and then I've seen mature people go, listen, it just didn't work out, but we want to be respectful. And she has and like, I love working with people like that, but man, when they're in the full on fight, dude, move on. Cause I spent my entire life with my parents doing that. And if you guys ever went through any type of divorce, it sucks. There's a certain maturity in life. Sometimes stuff doesn't work out. I don't want to get involved in other people's messes, because you can't fix that problem.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a problem, because when I talked to the guy, he was not speaking so well about his ex-wife. So,
no, but like that's not our job to judge. You just need to consent. So like, don't bring in. You can't pick sides, is what I'm telling you. And she's going to like say the same crap. Like it's like, you almost feel like you two need to talk, but like, it's not my job. I get it. It's tough, man. I went through a brutal divorce when I was growing up. Severely affected the family, and it created a lot of issues when I was a teenager. And like, I get it. Like, I feel for people. It's tough, but I do understand sometimes divorce is just necessary. Some people just grow and they go different. So it sucks, but I'm just telling you, when people reach out to you guys in divorce, if you don't have consent of both parties, don't even do a comp. It's a waste of time. A lot of times I have to refer those to realtors, because they need a realtor to sit there and hold their hand 6 months through it. I'm not doing it. And in the end, if it's a problem property, then they'll bring it to me and I move on. So just save yourself. It's weird when one contacts you and the other doesn't. They go, I'm not talking to her. that means you are going to be the go-to between them. And it's like, you're going to have to negotiate between the two and you're never going to make it work. So
Yeah, I don't want to go through that headache. Last question.
yeah.
I found a seller through the code violations list. He has a property for sale, but it's on the MLS and it's been on there for like almost close to 300 days.
That's a long
He's
time.
like, he wants to sell. His brother's living in it. He doesn't want to live there anymore. He's out of
Okay.
state. But there is I looked up property. There is a real estate agent. Should I just stop communication with the seller and call the agent, or how do I do this?
So have you talked to the seller or?
I talked to the seller. I actually have to call him here like in the next 30 minutes. So we can, talk a little bit more about the house. He's like throwing numbers out there, way lower than what the comps are in the area. So he's motivated to sell.
Okay,
His brother
so
wants to get out.
real simple. Just talk to the seller and get the information. And once you have the information, you find motivation. I would work on a price first and then go, how are we going to deal with this realtor? Odds are his deal probably expired and she's just kind of keeping it out there, but find out what his obligation is. You're not a licensed realtor, are you?
I'm not.
So guys, this is the perfect example of why you don't want a real estate license. Because if you were, you can't talk to this guy. You can talk to him.
Oh.
It's your right to. As a licensed real estate agent, you ethically can't. This is a huge advantage of why Jesus doesn't have a license, because now you can go and back in this deal, because either the realtor is crazy or the seller is crazy. Your job is to find out why this thing's not selling, find out the numbers. And then once you get a commitment for a number, I'd get a signed contract and I say, how are you going to deal with the realtor? Because Jesus, who pays for that realtor in the end?
The buyer, right?
Seller.
Oh, the seller. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So even if he signs an agreement with you, if he wants to pay the realtor, that's his problem, not yours. It's not your problem. The realtor had 300 days to sell it. Guys, don't get your license because you can't do what Jesus is doing. And I tell you this all the time, this stuff comes up. If you have your license, you do not have this option. You cannot talk to that seller. Jesus, go crazy because you didn't get your license and you listen to me. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to talk to him because
get a deal, get it under contract, then deal with the realtor situation. Because if he signs a contract, if he wants to pay it to the realtor, it's his option, not yours.
Okay.
Unless he
So
gives you such a smoking deal. He's like, will you throw the realtor a little bit of money? I go, I don't know. What did you commit to the realtor for? And just so you know, anybody can get out of a realtor listing if they complain enough. I know a lot of realtors are going to scream about me, but honestly, 300 days, you got to be kidding me. That's a joke. That's almost.
I got to find out why. I got to find out why it hasn't sold, because it's a pretty nice property. According to
I know, but so I would do the contract, do an inspection period, get it locked down, and then backwards out all the other stuff, because you're probably not going to be the first guy he talks to. So you want to make sure you're definitely the last. So use this, and guys, if you have your realtor's license, you cannot use this technique, because if he knows it's listed, you ethically and morally cannot contact the seller. You can't. So how did you get in touch with the seller?
Cold calling.
Yeah, there you go. Perfectly legal. Go do it. Put it under contract first, then deal with the problems afterwards.
Okay. Sounds good.
Deal with the realtor up front, because it's going to stall your deal.
Okay.
And then you can negotiate it on the back end. But remember, it's his obligation to negotiate it unless he brings it up. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, man. Good job. See ya. Okay, Dan, I'm back. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, man. What's going on? Sorry I missed you earlier.
Oh, no worries, man. Sorry, I'm out delivering and driving for dollars at the same time. And
I hear it, man.
Had the
What's going on?
phone in the van. I saw a fire damaged property going up in flames in person a couple days ago. And the next day, I just kind of drove by it and asked the neighbors, did everybody make it out okay? And they said, yeah, everybody did.
Yeah.
My question is, from kind of watching your videos, how quickly do you think it's proper to contact the owners? Because to give them enough time to grieve, find their new place that they're having to hang out at. Because I know.
How long ago did it happen?
Now it's probably been about 5 days now.
I mean, there's no real rules to it. Like, listen, if you want to contact them, just talk to them about safety and go, listen, I just want to make sure you're all right. I saw this happen. Like, I can't, like, what happened? Like, and just be curious and try to build a relationship on that. But If you're going to reach out to them early within the first few weeks, just don't talk about price like minute one because
Okay.
you're going to sound like a vulture. So but if you wait too late, somebody else is going to evolve. Say I would just try to say, listen, make sure you're all right. I saw it, like I was in the neighborhood. I just got concerned. I thought I'd just kind of reach out to you, and then either they're going to talk about it or they're not. And then if they want to
Gotcha.
talk to you about it, that's your cue to put your foot in the door and just establish relations. Say, listen, just I don't know what the plan is and stuff. Just let you know, I buy homes like this, but like I'm so happy it worked out for you. Let me know if you need help with like the insurance adjuster or anything like that. Remember, it's not you. You can bring other people in to help them. And then if you decide to help this, if you ever decide in the future to sell the house, I know you got a lot to sort through. My name is Dan. I just want to let you know what I do, and I'm just happy it all worked out for you. If you go from like helping people as far as like I want to buy your house, I fired it. It's very cold when you do that, man. So it's like chasing act. You know how lawyers get the reputation of chasing ambulances. You can get that if you chase fire. Like when the fire's going out and the firefighter's out of the way, like, hey, can you give the seller my card? It sounds cheesy and you got to avoid that. So I don't have an answer for you of when. Sometimes you can reach out too soon. The day of is way too soon. I'd say a week to 2 weeks is respectable, but it's close.
Okay.
30 days. But the problem is you wait 30 days, you could be beaten to it. And
Yeah.
you don't even know what their plans are. Like if they go like, no, we're going to rebuild, we're fine with it. Just move on. And
I have a list. I mean, since I'm driving a lot, I've seen a lot of, burned down houses in actually very nice new HOA neighborhoods.
You got a lot of fires in your area, or you in
I
California?
guess so, man. I mean, I got some friends that are firefighters too, but I haven't even kind of reached out to them.
Oh man, that's gold right there, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't get in trouble, but I'm just telling you, you know what to do with that. So
yeah,
I once almost got a postman fired, guys, because he used to tell me where all the special deliveries got delivered to, and he wanted to create a course for it. I go, dude, it's a really bad idea. He did it. He got in trouble. He got fired for it. But if you have a contact like that, I wouldn't share it publicly too much. But I'm just telling you, it's gold. But like, if you're nice and you're helpful with people, you can never reach out too early. But like, it's the same equivalent if you show up to a funeral because you want to beat like the 2 days after the obituary, like you're wasting your time. Like people just need time. So hopefully nobody died, nobody got hurt. But especially if it's their own personal house, they do need some time. So you just kind of, you got to take a risk sometimes and just got to make a decision, and you'll learn from your information. Very rarely do I get them. Like I'm usually 30 to 60 days out because the information is dated. So I don't have an answer for you on that. But if you're kind and you go from a helpful place and not a cash buyer, you'll do a lot better. And then the idea is if they get to that point, you can introduce it. But
there's been somebody I've actually delivered to and we've had conversations with, and then I saw recently, I haven't been there in months, I saw the house got burned down, and my thing was, I don't even know if maybe to bring up, hey, I'm the guy that used to deliver your house. But then he's probably like, you probably don't have enough money to get this house.
Fire damage, it's a process. So the idea is you set the leads up and you work through them, because most of them are waiting for insurance claims and the family has to make a decision. And so that's kind of how I approach the subject when I do it. So it just take it, and the date will tell you. Just like sometimes some people react weird, and just don't take it personally. If your house burnt down too, you'd be like, what the hell are you doing calling me? So now if they're outside in the house like that, it's a whole different, like I go for it. But like the phone, people are weird, man. So especially in like probate, fire damage properties. So you got to just kind of design your own comfort level. But remember, if you're going to somebody like in probates, I tell people never attack the price on the first phone call, because that's what everybody else does. If you do the opposite of what everybody else does, you have a much better relationship, and then you can eventually get to if they're going to do a deal with you. Remember, we're never selling. All we do is qualify and build great rapport. And if you do the two things, you'll do very well. The people who try to sell everybody, you need to be a realtor if you want to do that. Wholesaling, either they want to do it or they don't, and either they have the confidence and you walk them down the path, and that's how the game's played. There's no other secret to it, guys. I was in a high-stress, high-performance sales job and a corporate job for 12 years. Wholesaling is completely opposite. It's much easier. The hard part is finding the people. That's the challenge. So take a risk, take a shot, but just go from a loving, helping, like, hey, I want to help you out.
In those new HOA neighborhoods, is there some restrictions or anything with you have to kind of sell it back to maybe the builder to buy to build
No,
a exact same house?
HOAs for the most part just want to keep clean communities
Okay.
and keep everyone's property values up. So they have to make accommodations for a fire dome. But trust me, I've been part of a lot of they don't have the money or the time to buy the houses or the specialties and the resource, especially a burnt down house. So
Okay.
they're just going to tell them, you got 1 year to get this problem fixed. And if they abandon it and leave it, then the HOA would get involved and foreclose on the home.
Okay.
But even then, it just goes up for auction. A builder buys it, and then they, put up a new house or renovate it. So
Okay.
HOAs, honestly, they don't have the resources or the budgets to do it. Condos, different story. Whenever you get in condo communities, a lot of condo boards have first right of refusal, especially on auction properties.
Okay.
So
Gotcha. I had one question if I can ask you about
go ahead.
software. Have you tried out the Privy at all yet? At all?
It's to be honest with you, most new investors don't need it.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with Privy. It's just I just think it's for a new wholesaler. It's unless you're in a very challenged state, it's the only way you can get the information. But like, all I can tell you, if you want to do it, is just try it out. I've tried it. It didn't help me at all. So I'm just
Okay.
but it helps in certain states, but it gives a challenge. Like, how many pieces of software do you need? The reality is, if you find people with problems and you get a house that needs to be sold, you have a much better advantage. The problem with Privy is you start playing like, you guys are going to start to become realtors if you do that. Now, is it a great tool? I'm sure it is. I've tried it out. We just didn't see the real benefit for it. But you guys kind of know where my markets are. I know a lot of people are in different markets. Honestly, you got to buy deep discounted properties, and it's too easy to find values now. So to do an expensive service like that,
Gotcha.
like, remember, my goal is to get people started and get deals and get you to your first 100 grand. You don't need Privy to do that. But would it help you? I don't know. You have to make that decision. It didn't help me. And I'm just giving you my opinion. If you don't see me putting it on the bottom here, I don't use it. And like, guys, I do this. I've been doing this 20 years. If I think it's a value, I'll tell you. I just think there's more. I don't know. I just think you can get a lot more value on some other software services, but I might change my mind down the road. Like, don't nail me in the corner, but like, as of right now, I don't think it's required. Now, if you're doing it on a more advanced level and you're dealing deals all over the country, I get it. But for the most part, we're all doing local markets or a virtual market or two. And for the most part, PropStream or Batch will more than suffice, and it's much more affordable. But you guys make the choice. You don't need any software to be successful in wholesaling. So the minute you start using the crutch for software, it's going to lead you down the shiny object syndrome, and you're going to it's painful. So I've been that. Guys, for the first 2 years, I never even used the software. Different time, different age. I get it. Hunter's probably like, yeah, I wasn't even born when you did it, Mr. Ginn. Like, I get it, guys. It's a different world, man. But if you think it's a value to you, then just do it. I would be reckless to recommend it for starter wholesalers, because most of you are going to go, well, I wasted my money on that. I'd rather you spend the money like doing door knocking, driving for dollars, getting lists and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But
thank you so much.
check it out. If it's a value to it, give it a shot. But I know it's almost about twice the price of the normal services we do. And like, it really only has like one specific task. And so I don't think you need it as a starter wholesaler, but guys, if you're going to go, like, when you get up and you get a team and stuff, then the world changes on how you operate in this business. For the most of you guys, I'm just trying to get you started. And if you start chasing around anything that's going to help you, it's going to get expensive fast. So the advent of Google Sheets, email and everything like that, it's like there's a lot of things that I want you to get the skill set and the mindset. I can make money with no money. And then when I have money, I'm going to be the most dangerous person in wholesaling. And if you come from that mentality, you'll do very well. The person who thinks they need every tool, every coach, every wholesaler, in the end of the day, it's always you that's accountable. You have to do the work. And honestly, they would like you to do the work, but the reality is, if you don't do the work, they still got paid. So it's on you. So at the end of the day, if you know you're going to get a good education through freewholesaling.com, you just have to put in the work. Don't rely on all these third-party services. If it helps you, like if you do PropStream over hiring another employee, it's much, much cheaper. An employee is going to cost you $2,500 to $3,500 a month just to do like basic stuff. It ain't cheap anymore. So
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Okay, man. I'll see you. So let's see here. Okay, guys. Well, I got my green shoes for you that I'm going to go get yelled at when I go in the gym. Like, it's not yelled at. It's like everybody, tell me more about the shoes. I'm like, I don't know about you guys. Like when I go to the gym, like I don't want any more friends at the gym because like I want to get down and get the business and just push my muscles and get back to the things I want to do. So it's like, so guys, go out and enjoy your day. And I want you to take heart what we talked about, giving you the blueprint for the $10,000. And guys, you got to take the extra effort and get through stuff. I can tell you all the conversation I have with you guys is just going that extra step. And the reason I'm here is to help you, give you that extra little boost of support to go, you're on the right path. Just watch out for this. And I try to talk to everybody. I really try to talk to everybody. So jump on Monday night, 5 p.m. Eastern for all the people I missed. Carlin, Alex, everybody. I mean, the list is so long. And honestly, I've run out of people to talk to on Monday. So if you want to join me on the live streams, go to Rick Ginn and make sure you subscribe to that. If you're subscribed, I'll let you on there. Also, check out Zach, my son. He's going to be on Sunday night. I believe he does 10 p.m. Eastern. Helps a lot of you guys on the West Coast. And I know you guys like to talk to the young guns. And he has a lot of great content. So, guys, do me a favor. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate. Make sure you smash that like button. It helps us out a ton. Guys, go out there and get deals. Fight for yourself, guys. I believe in you. You can easily do this. You have what it takes